Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Who's that?
I eat mop.
I eat mop who? Ow.
There are two
Got
kinds
me.
of people in this podcast: people that can hear themselves before they speak, and Larry.
And Larry. I'm just as surprised by what I say as you guys are.
And then there's me, who got caught up on, did he say mop or mott?
Mott?
And I just completely lost it after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like knock knock jokes because I don't answer my own door when people knock on it, or when I do.
Just like, come in.
No, I get very aggressive when people come over unexpected. Like it makes me mad. Because most of the time when people are knocking on my door, they're trying to sell me something or trying to get me to become religious. Did you find God? Is that why you were looking up, Rick?
I'm hearing you pumping upstairs.
You would not enjoy my household then, because there's a dozen kids in our neighborhood and they all really want to play with my son. So
See, it's
every
different.
afternoon. Yeah, but there's just constantly coming.
But when like the other day I had a guy knock on my door and I like slung the door open. I was like, "What?" And he was like, "Did you lose a house?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "We had a couple days before we had a really bad windstorm, and it blew like everything everywhere. And he lives about 2 streets over and found a playhouse, and he was wondering if it was ours because he saw all the toys outside."
You should have said yes.
Really nice guy. I
was
felt
nice.
bad for like starting out aggressive.
Yeah.
What do you want?
It turned out to be really
You have
sweet,
something in
and
your
you
phone.
were.
You should have said yes. Free playhouse.
No, I actually have a no trespassing sign on my front door because of people knocking all the time. Because there was a guy when we first moved in, he was like, "Come join our church," and I was like, "Dude, we are still unpacking. Like, go away." And he goes away for about 2 weeks, and I got the no trespassing sign, and he comes back and he was like, "Now, does that sign apply to me?" And I was like, "Did I invite you here?" And he's like, "No." I was like, "Then it applies to you."
Make me
Yeah.
think of the
Oh,
old
goodbye.
Far Side comic. Instead of Beware of Dog, it's Beware of Doug. And it's just some guy leering out behind a tree in the yard.
So I'm gonna get.
Who can that be knocking at my door?
Anyways, welcome back to an unsolicited episode of As Dad as It Gets, the podcast where we'll knock and we'll keep knocking.
That seems threatening.
It is. I'm
Come
your
on,
threatening.
come on.
I'm your threatening host, Larry, and with me, as always, are our 3 little Girl Scouts.
Oh man, I guess better
Rick,
goes with
Rick, Tom, and John.
I do love
Yeah.
me some tag-alongs.
Oh God! So
amendments.
we got a box of
No.
Girl Scout cookies,
Mhm.
and my daughter goes and opens a box of Tagalongs. Tagalongs are the chocolate and the peanut butter, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She ate all the chocolate off of all of the cookies and put them back because she didn't like anything else. It was so gross.
Your child's a psychopath.
She is.
I've just diagnosed her.
Yeah. She's still looking at her book. I can see her. She's got a pillow up, so thinking that the camera can't see what she's doing. But I can see the book.
She's starting to get clever.
It is a pretty smart thing. But anyways, so speaking of things that kids do, this story comes from Mount Pleasant, Wisconsin. 4-year-old boy recently made an unexpected 911 call after his mother ate his ice cream without permission. Upset by the incident, he contacted emergency services stating, "My mommy's being bad. Come get my mommy." When officers arrived at the residence, he informed them that he no longer wanted his mother to go to jail, but simply desired some ice cream. The following day, officers returned to the family's home with a surprise delivery of ice cream for the boy. But yeah, that
I love it.
the story for that, you can hear the kid calling 911 and talking to the operator.
Mhm.
And the mom picks up the phone mid call and was like, "Yeah, he was threatening to call 911. We didn't think he'd do it."
Never would. I love it.
It was funny. What do you guys got?
Well,
I was actually going to share that. I saw that same story come up in my reels before I hopped
yeah.
on. I was like, "Oh, that's cute."
Yeah.
Now,
What's John got?
So John is going off of more of a personal thing that's going on in our neighborhood. It's not a problem yet, but anyways, I was putting my son to bed last night, and we were just talking about things, and he started talking about, what he does in the neighborhood with the neighborhood kids that come over all the time, and they go play soccer, and they play, tag and hide and seek and yada yada. And he's just naming off, oh, so and so does this really well, or so and so is mean to this person. It's typical 9-year-old kid drama. And then he just randomly, mid-sentence, just mentioned, oh, and there's that nice man that gives us money sometimes. And then he keeps going. And I'm like, well, the who? Because the guy lives on the other side of the neighborhood. He's really nice, Dad. He's fine. Sometimes he just randomly gives us money. Like, what? Because you do chores for him? No. He comes out, he says hi, he hangs out for a bit. Sometimes he gives someone a $5 bill, and then he goes home.
That's concerning.
Yeah, full breaks on that part. Just, I was like, what? Do you know his name? No, just a nice guy.
The money man.
How old is he? I don't know, probably about your age.
Ah.
Do you know where he lives? No, just other side of the neighborhood. Yeah, so I spent the better part of today going around to all the other kids' homes who I know where they live and telling their parents, like, have your kids talked about this? 4 of the kids had also mentioned it to their parents, but none of them know where this guy lives.
They'd be calling the cops.
Yeah, it's a little concerning. So I thought it was a kind of do a public, I don't know what you would call it. Yeah, just kind of talking about it. And I looked up a series of suggestions of things that you can do with your kids to kind of, prepare them, even if they don't fully understand what's going on. Like with my son, we have the rule, you don't talk to people who aren't friends of mom and dad, right?
Yeah.
They aren't neighbors that you know, or they aren't the neighbors' parents of the kids you play with, or you don't go into someone's house without first telling your.
Oh, John froze.
oh,
Son of a gun. It's normally not mid-sentence.
it was funny
Oh.
while he had power with
There it
Bella,
is.
he didn't freeze at all. But
Or is silence then?
Yeah.
So you
I
got
don't know.
to you don't
It's
go
been
into
going fine for like 15 minutes now, and all of a sudden, yeah.
you don't go
Um,
to houses.
Other people's homes without telling mom or dad first, and saying it's okay. So this is just a series of tips, that I found, I looked up and everything that got compiled together. Like they call it the safe adult rule, kind of like I was saying. You don't talk to the people unless they're friends of mom and dad's or the parents of the other kids. So just ahead of time pointing out to them, these are the people that you can talk to. Also suggest adding police officers, teachers, trusted friends. I like to put on that list if you see an adult that clearly has kids with them,
Yeah.
like their children are there with them. That's probably an okay person to go to. Um, it also suggests teaching your kid the no go yell tell rule, which is if someone approaches you that you don't know and they're trying to get you to something they don't want you to do, to loudly yell no, quickly maneuver away from the person, get away from the person, yell loudly during the whole time, and the moment you can get away, tell an adult that that's happened. The quicker someone else is aware of it, the quicker something can be done about it. Um, Even going as far as practicing situational, like things that you can do when that's happening, like things to look out for. Offer, the person's offering you candy or some kind of treat, telling
Money.
you to come check, saying, "Hey, can you come, check this thing out?" Or just, around the corner or inside the house, things like that. Things that you can do if the person tries to do something, right? Like, to yell loudly, to kick, things like that. Um, it even suggests here, remind the child that they are small and hard to grab because they're wiggly,
Like,
which I find
go
to be
for
a
the
very
nuts.
interesting.
And they tend to be wet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man check, right? I
Yeah.
heard that. It encourages you to set up a family password with people. So if they do approach your child and say that your mom said to come get them, they have to have a code word.
Mhm.
And if they
You've-
don't have the code word,
You guys have heard Bert Kaiser's talk about that, right?
I think so.
His daughter comes up with the code word MFer. And he's like,
Yeah.
think about it, Dad. No one's going to say MFer to a kid. And he's like, all right.
I love it.
Yeah.
And then encourage open communication between child and parent. Exactly what happened with my son last night, of him just telling me about it. Now, he didn't, like, as they suggest here, having, indicated ahead of time things like this and you tell me. It just happened to come up in the middle of a conversation, and I was the one that noted it and was like, let's backtrack to that thing. But yeah, I
Yeah.
just kind of thought it was important to bring it up because it is actively happening in my neighborhood right now. So, and there's a chance that the guy is completely innocent and maybe just doesn't realize that that's weird to do with kids.
Yeah, it's possible.
Maybe.
I mean, but it's better, better safe than sorry.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever worry that with your smaller kids that as you're carrying them through the parking lot and they're screaming that you'll get identified as someone kidnapping?
Yes,
Yeah.
it has gone through my head mid carry while the child is like thrashing and yelling.
So one of my best friends that he adopted his son. They are not the same race. So he's carrying a child of a different race that's screaming, "You're not my dad." Yeah, that's fun.
Oh, I bet it is. Poor guy.
Oh dear.
Love him to
I
death.
know Remy, one time we were Target, I think. And I was an aisle over. I was nowhere near my child. He goes, "Daddy hit me." As loud as he can in Target. And I'm like, what? Stop it.
So my daughter, when we were like, every time we go to Walmart, she's saying something that will get DCS on my case. So we were at Walmart once, and there was a rather rotund lady in front of us, and Callie just goes, "Why is her butt so big?" And I was like, "Shut up!" And she was like, "Why is she moving so slow? Is she moving slow because of her butt?" And so I thumped her on the back of the head to get her attention to tell her to shut up. So then she started crying, and she was like, "My dad beats me." Yeah.
One time we were in it was Harbor Freight. We had a cart, and Remy was sitting in the cart facing me, obviously. And I don't know what led him to do this. He was being loud, like, "Remy, be quiet, be quiet." And he just banged his head into the
Oh.
handle of the car. I'm like, what just happened? And everybody's suddenly in my business looking at me like I just slammed my kid's head into it. I'm like, what? No.
So they're like, don't do that again.
Yeah, no kidding.
But speaking of toddlers, studies show that on average, toddlers hear the word no about 400 times a day.
That's a start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it does. The study does say, however, this can vary depending on the child's activity level and how the parents use the word no. So one of the big things as to why the study matters, the study matters because it's kids learning boundaries. No is a tool for setting boundaries, and using it too often can make the child feel restricted. They're learning to explore at this age, so children can learn what to do by being told what not to do. They learn to think. No can force a child to think, to consider other options, to be more flexible, and they can learn to respect authority. No can, help a child learn through that. But also, there are alternatives. The study show to the word no. Yes, later is an alternative to no. Give me a minute. Let me think about that. That's an interesting request. Convince me. Things like that.
That's an interesting request.
Yeah, that's an
I
interesting.
love that one.
I've used that one at work before.
Why did I ask that question?
Are you gentle parenting your coworkers?
Yeah, I do. It works fantastic with a boss.
Did you say please?
What do we say? Like, I
Boss
turned
like,
into
please what?
I turned into Miss Rachel at work. Yay!
Yay!
You did it.
One no alternative that I use is we'll see. Yeah. My daughter.
Maybe
so-
later is one of mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Until your child starts to figure out, and later is, a period of time that's not now. So they'll come back in like 2
Yeah.
hours and
Well,
Yeah.
So we got the
Later in your life, kid.
we got the trampoline set up yesterday, and
yeah.
Callie is like, "Let's go sleep on it," and I'm like, "We'll wait until it's warmer."
Yeah.
Yeah, she wants to
Yeah,
spend
say
the
how-
night.
And she's still not dead. Good job.
She put that thing together like 40%. Oh,
And Larry's gone.
We're all
Hope you did a
down.
better job putting that together than you did with that camera.
no, I've got my phone with my notes, and my phone's leaning up against the camera. Okay. There we go.
For anyone
no.
who was watching, we just went on a little adventure with Larry.
It was like the
nauseated.
Blair Witch. But she put together about 40% of that trampoline.
Kelly did.
Yeah,
Good job.
yeah. I don't know if I shared it on Facebook, but I don't know if I sent the video to you guys about her tightening the bolts on it.
Mm.
She did a really good job. I was surprised.
Good for her.
Yeah. But also, so they're speaking of trends with kids. There's a new trend that parents are starting to notice where children are spending more time in communal areas such as living rooms rather than retreating to their bedrooms.
Yeah.
The shift is often referred to as the emergence of living room families, emphasizes shared family spaces or individual ones. The term living room family gained traction on social media platforms, particularly TikTok, where users contrast with bedroom families. In living room families, children feel comfortable playing and relaxing in shared spaces, fostering a sense of unity and togetherness. Conversely, bedroom families are characterized by family members who spend most of their time in separate rooms. Experts say that living room family can have a positive implications for a child's development. That's from Dr. Martha Caldo, a clinical psychologist. She notes that the concept extends beyond physical space, reflecting how families accept and welcome children activities in communal areas, making them feel more accepted and valued. However, it is essential to recognize that each family's dynamic is unique. Factors such as individual personalities, home layouts, daily routines play a role in determining whether a family gravitates towards shared or individual spaces. I've learned that we're a living room family, apparently. I cannot get my daughter to play in her room. Yeah. I was a bedroom family.
Loves, yeah, we were kind of both. My, just like half and half. Hunter will try his best to take over the living room. Like, he wants to dominate all aspects of what's happening in the living room.
Yeah.
Where Morgan is perfectly happy to be either with us or like in the basement or in her room. But yeah,
She's
Hunter
kinda
just
happy
he
wherever.
wants to dominate it. Yeah, well, yeah. Morgan's just like, yeah, sure, okay.
Yeah, Callie. If everyone's in the living room, she wants them to be paying attention to her,
Mm-hmm.
which is going to be
Remy's,
fun in August.
I bet. Remy's room is upstairs, and we don't really do anything except sleep upstairs. So yeah, everything we do is in the living room. Of course, our living room is half the house on the first floor. So I mean, we're always together. My desk room is everything is, I can look at my wife in the living room. So everything we do is in here.
You mean that she has to stare at your mug?
Hush.
Oh, she can hear me.
I'm so
Wait,
sorry.
Wait.
You guys.
I need to tell her that you've been hitting on me.
You know. She knows. Yeah.
Okay.
I showed her.
He called me pretty.
Emotionally and physically.
No, he sent me a Facebook message where just randomly saying that I was pretty, and I was like, did he mean to send this to me?
I did. I'm alive at the same time. I was doing this damn late, and Larry said.
The bad thing is, like, I didn't really question that much. I was just like, I'm telling your wife.
Oh, you.
That's fine. That's kind of what I get for getting you in trouble that one time.
Yeah. How dare you? Anyways, what do you got? What do you guys got? I forgot about it.
I was doing some actual research this time. So the difference between positive parenting and positive psychology parenting. So most psychology, and as far as child rearing, is mostly focused on kids who are not necessarily well adjusted or maybe maladjusted, and how to handle them with their challenges. Most of it isn't focusing on kids who are well adjusted and how to help them succeed even further. So the study was like 2018, I think. Positive parenting is the thing we all know about it, but positive psychology parenting. So positive psychology is focusing on positive emotions and character strengths, and positive institutions. So, we all know what we're talking about there. And since the family is considered an institution, if you can make it a positive one, to foster positive emotions and focus on and build character strengths in children, they're more likely to thrive very well later in life. And this can be used, it can be used with any child, maladjusted or not. But this, even with well-adjusted kids, and instituting positive psychology parenting, focusing on making sure that your children have regularly experience positive emotions, joy. It's got a little list here somewhere. Joy, gratitude, serenity, hope, pride, fun, things like that. The more they have those, the more even if they're well adjusted, the more adjusted they'll be, and the happier they'll be throughout their life. The existence of constant negative emotions, like anything, will lead to stress, which leads to cortisol
Yeah.
production. And cortisol does nothing good for anybody.
Hmm.
So it's best to really focus on making sure, because not everything can be positive. We can't always, make them happy and make sure they're having fun, because sometimes they, hit their teacher in class or something like that, like I'm currently dealing with. Or, but as long as you can make the lion's share of it at least reasonably positive, they are going to have positive outcomes, or more positive outcomes rather, than if they're constantly led to feel negative emotions, sadness, anger, hatred, anything like that, stress, forlornness. I'm not certain forlornness is a word. But yeah.
I think that one thing that should be noted about that, I don't know if they noted it in the study, but like with positivity, it can also be a toxic thing. If you try to bury what you're feeling in positivity. So like us going through IVF, there were a lot of people that were like, just stop stressing about it, and just be happy with what you have and all this stuff.
That don't work.
Yeah, you have to work through it to be able to deal with it, rather than just like spraying it with sunshine. It's more of a Band-Aid. But one thing that a friend of mine does as a parent is when their kid does something, he's not like, I'm proud of you. He's like, oh, great, you should be proud of yourself for this. To teach them to be proud in themselves, like instead of seeking it from their parents or other people. So little words like that can make a big difference.
Okay. Building up, strengths. I know a lot of us focus on, what our kid is doing wrong.
Yeah.
Like right now, like I mentioned, right now, unfortunately, we're focusing on bad behaviors of my son, because he is struggling currently in school. But one thing we're also trying to doubly make sure is that we are highlighting when he does something well.
Yeah.
I mean, today Emily did a little shadow today at school, and his teacher said he was very peaceful and had a good day, which is not the report that we were recently told that most days are not really bad, but are bad news to us. They never let us know until, hey, we're not going to let you re-enroll him in school next year. We didn't know it was bad. Sorry.
Well, and I don't know if you have this problem with your daycare, but I have it with mine. Is we don't get daily reports; we get weekly reports.
Yeah.
So that when our daughter has a bad day, we don't find out about it till 5 days later, and by then it's too late to talk to them about it, because she doesn't remember what she did 5 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're too young to be properly telling you what happened that day or whatever.
Yeah.
They can. Yeah.
We don't get updates at all. We can kind of request them if we want, but sometimes getting in touch with the teacher is a little difficult. Because actually it's a Montessori academy, it's not daycare. So we really only thought it was 5 bad days.
Yeah.
Because we've had five notifications since August that he's had rough days. So I thought 5 bad days, and then, hey, we're not going to accept his re-enrollment for next year because of these continued behaviors. It's like, what?
Yeah. Like, why wasn't I told about this?
Yeah, we're having a conference coming up. Like, hey, we would have been, we've been a little too permissive, and we recognize that. We didn't recognize it until we knew it was a problem. So anyway, we're focusing on, one, don't don't be loud in class. Stop pretending you're a dog during teaching time.
Yeah.
Normal 4-year-old boy stuff. So, but one thing we're making sure is, obviously we do have to focus on the negative stuff. And it has to be talked about. We have to work through with it. But also, in between those times, we're still making sure, hey, you're doing a great job. You should be proud of yourself. Today, I was telling him, how proud I was of him having a good day. Later, we got a message from the teacher that said, or they put pictures on something called Transparent Classroom, apparently swinging a piece of Play-Doh around. So, we can't win all of them. But that was also 4-year-old boy behavior.
Yeah, that's also 37-year-old man behavior.
I feel that.
Yep.
I don't have any Legos to build whether I'd be doing that currently.
Yeah.
I mean, who hasn't lately?
Yeah.
So that leads my next article from the Advertiser that surprisingly says overscheduling your kids can be bad. So I was reading this article that warns that overloading your children with extracurricular activities can be just as harmful as excessive screen time, experts say. Constantly scheduled activities can lead to stress, anxiety, burnout, lack of creativity. They say that children need unstructured play and downtime to develop emotional resilience, problem-solving skills, and independence. Too much structure can also strain family time and cause exhaustion, impacting both physical and mental well-being. To ensure healthy balance, parents are encouraged to prioritize free play and let children choose activities they genuinely enjoy. And I realized that when we had Callie in dance, gymnastics, and soccer all at the same time.
Jeez.
Yeah. It was Mondays was soccer. Fridays was dance. Or no, Mondays was gymnastic, Fridays was dance, and Saturdays was soccer. So it was like almost every night we had something to do.
Yeah.
And then we just quit gymnastics because it was like mostly her standing around and she hated it.
Yeah, if they don't like it, then there's no point keeping up with it.
Well, she likes gymnastics when she gets to do it, but her class got so big to the point to where she was just like she would stand and wait for her turn. And it was just every week getting a longer and longer wait. It's a 30-minute class and there's 10 kids and half of them don't listen. She's got to wait even longer. It was a waste of like $60. But no, it's you got to kind of let them figure the world out on their own for a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And sometimes, I mean, just letting them have that downtime and just unscheduled play.
Oh, there goes John.
Hey, go mid-sentence again.
Ooh. He looks like he's smelling his own fart. What were you saying, John?
He's back.
Yeah, I'm back. Saying, it gives them the opportunity to do what they want to do and just have some time for them. But it gives you the time to get things done that you need to get done too, or just, God forbid, sit on the couch for 10 minutes while your child's in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, mom and dad need that downtime too.
Exactly.
I, while we were talking, I just decided to look up funny parenting tweets from this week. There's some pretty good ones.
What do you got?
My daughter and I were talking about personal safety, and she said, well, you don't have to worry about being kidnapped anymore, and no one wants a 36-year-old. Out of nowhere, my kid laughed and said, I'm having a great time with you people, which might be the funniest thing you could say in a room containing only your parents.
You people are great.
My 3-year-old is screaming because a car just like my. Excuse me. My 3-year-old is screaming because a car just like my wife's passed us on the freeway, and she wants to tell her hi. Did I mention that we just dropped my wife off at work? Did I mention that we are in my wife's car?
Well, they can't. They don't have that object permanence, so they
Yeah.
don't know. But today when I put Callie down for bed, I was like, all right, I'll see you in a little bit. Have a good night. And she's like, all right. And I was like, be good. And she's like, that's not gonna happen. I was like, okay.
Where she gets that.
I don't know. Her new
Maybe still gives me the "I love you, buddy. I'll see you in the morning." You will. Every night, I feel it's just a little slight bit of ominous.
You'll see me.
Oh,
Oh, you will.
You
Let's leave it in the
will
morning.
be. You will be.
Kids say the darndest things.
And they have no idea what the meaning of morning is.
Yeah.
No.
But we've
My dad-
talked about that before, being woken up at 2 a.m.
Remy, anytime we give him a time, it doesn't matter what time
Mm.
it is. He asks us what that is. So, like, we'll do this afternoon. What's this afternoon? Well, it's afternoon. What's noon? 12. Okay. What's 12? It's a time on the clock. What's the clock? What is happening? It's the thing on the wall.
There was
Oh.
a TikTok that I saw where a guy was like, I used to measure time in episodes of SpongeBob. I was like, all right, I'll see you in 10 episodes of SpongeBob. Yeah.
Remy hasn't quite. So when I was young, I measured in sleeps. So if something was going to happen, it was 2 sleeps away, 3 sleeps away, greater than a day. I haven't quite introduced that with Remy yet, but I have a feeling he wouldn't probably connect with it just yet.
Funny though.
Maybe.
Yeah.
My daughter's still looking at her book.
Mhm.
It is 9:37 here. She gonna be sleepy in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime Remy he doesn't sleep very well. He's a bit crabby. And a while back, I started calling him a crabby crab when he does it. And when we were at my wife's in-laws, I told him, "Hey, buddy, you tired?" He goes, "Yeah, Dad, but I'm not a crabby crab."
Your wife's in-laws.
My wife's parents, my in-laws. Sorry,
I was like, wouldn't that be your parents?
it would.
Hold up.
unless she has a sibling that but they
She
wouldn't
does.
be her in-laws, like
No.
maybe her sister-in-law on
You're
her
complicating
brother's
things. You're
side.
complicating a misspeak.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really fun when you get to the age when saying things like a crabby crab is now embarrassing and annoying.
I'm not
Like
looking
I always say, don't be a drama llama.
forward.
And my daughter still finds that very funny. My son gets very annoyed by it because it's embarrassing to call him a llama.
My daughter just gets mad because she's like, I'm not this. I was like, what are you? I am Callie.
Yeah, been there.
So wait, you're not?
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You just dig in with it. You think you're not a crabby crab?
Oh, that makes her even madder.
Mhm.
She will hit me. Her new favorite pastime is punching me.
Oh God.
That's concerning.
Yeah. It's like
And
right in the
that's
shoulder.
when you tell.
Like,
Ow.
right there. I got bruises right there.
That's when you tell her to get her pincers away from you.
So I just sweep the legs. But Tom, what you got?
I did a bad job at doing my homework. I'm
You
not
don't-
gonna lie.
You don't have your homework?
I don't have my homework.
Okay.
Your
that's fine.
beard's looking extra luscious tonight, though.
It
by the way.
is. It's looking
Thank
very
you.
beardy. I have
Beardy?
one last story.
It's okay.
So-
Larry's going to cover for you.
I
Oh, you-
appreciate it.
I suddenly became Bigfoot. What the
Or
heck?
you-
Hang on. Let's get Rick in focus.
Why is
There we go.
there he is?
Trying to get it to focus on my face. I love it.
the question is, Rick, what was it focusing on?
Oh.
I don't know.
Ghost.
Something.
What-
Oh, the lights are going out.
What is your son's imaginary friend? Jolly?
Oh
It's
boy.
Jolly.
Apparently, so Jolly is now 100 years old.
Oh God, he's a
Oh.
Fae.
And he still lives in the water tower in Peoria Heights.
And he's
Which is
giving,
across the street from his school, so that's why he says that. But
he's giving John's kid money.
Don't need that.
Yeah.
I love it.
No. So a dad has been dubbed lunch dad by the internet. So father in California, Jeffrey Hankins, noticed his daughter was feeling anxious about lunchtime because some kids sat alone and she was worried about him. Wanting to help, he volunteered as a lunch monitor at her elementary school. At first, Jeffrey simply observed, but soon he realized that many kids felt lonely or left out. He started sitting with different children each day, sparking conversations, playing simple games, and encouraging them to interact. Over time, the kids began making new friends, and the cafeteria became more lively. Other parents and even teachers noticed a difference inspired by Jeffrey's kindness, and more dads started volunteering for lunchtime shifts, creating a strong positive presence at the school. Since then, they've started a Lunch Buddies program where students can sign up to sit with a mentor, ensuring no child eats alone. Yeah,
I like that.
it's
Love it.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Unless you're that kid that enjoys eating alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then some random dude just comes, sits down next to you.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hey,
what?
nope,
Go away. Yeah.
not about it.
But no, it's it can make a kid feel anxious. You know, you get that anxiety of the people around you. Are they making fun of you? Are they you know, do they hate you? Do you smell? So yeah.
Yeah.
Starting.
Of course they hate me.
Yeah.
If they're talking, they have to be making fun of me. What else would they talk about?
It's just logic.
There's nothing else weird in the world at all right now.
Yeah. They're laughing. It must be me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
My face.
I kind of have that same. So when I'm driving, and I'm behind a school bus, I'll be sitting there and I'm like, those cool kids in the back of the school bus are probably making fun of me.
That's
Oh,
when you
no.
look at them and you start.
And they are. Like, I've literally been behind a school
Yeah.
bus and they're like, it's like, y'all are in third grade.
You can't
I have a
drive.
master's degree. Why is this bothering me?
Yeah. Why does it bother me? That's the
Yeah.
big question.
That's the biggest thing.
So
Children judging me. No.
just slight offshoot. You mentioned driving today. I yelled at a lady for driving the wrong way in a parking deck. I made the bad turn.
I
I rolled down my window like, you're driving the wrong way, lady. And I was like,
Uh-oh.
sorry. Great.
I had the most terrifying driving experience a couple years ago. I was driving down the road and a guy pulled out in front of me, and I got mad and like honked my horn and threw a can at his truck. I missed completely. But he like did a little wave and I'm just flipping him off cussing because it made me mad.
Yeah.
And he pulls over to the side of the road and I was like, okay, he's probably just like texting or something. And I go on and he pulls behind me and follows me for 20 minutes.
Oh boy.
To the point to where I was like, I'm going to a police station.
Yeah.
But it just happened that he was going the same way that I was. I was
To the police
overthinking
station
things.
of all places.
Huh?
To the police station of all places.
Well, I was getting ready to turn to the police station and he just went straight. So he was either realized what I was doing or it had nothing to do with me at all.
And
Yeah,
that's how Larry avoided a murder.
I have
Yeah,
main
you were a
characters in
split second from being murdered.
Uh-huh.
with my daughter in the back seat.
Yep.
Ooh.
Yeah, she was like 6 months old, so at the time I could cuss in front of her.
Mm-mm.
Not so much anymore.
Yeah, I had to be careful. Remy dropped something the other day and he went, "Ah, damn it." I'm like, Remy.
Yeah,
Stop it."
Damn it is one of my biggest words, and like
Yeah.
she said it the other day. She like fell and then just laid there and just goes, "Damn it." And I was like, "Don't say that." And she's like, "You say it all the time." I was like, "Shut up."
Well, yeah, I do a lot of
Yeah,
things
but-
I'm not supposed to. So.
Ah.
It was like
Yeah.
a year ago. We were in the kitchen, and my daughter was going to carry a glass into the family room, and she just drops and spills it. She just goes, "Well, shit." And I'm just like, "Oh my God." It's like I'm not happy that you said it, but yeah, it's probably the right time to actually let one of
Yeah.
those loose.
I'm
Very
not
well
happy it
executed.
happened, but I get it.
Yeah. I feel you.
Yeah.
Remy doesn't tend to repeat what I say until Emily goes, "Watch your mouth, Dad." And then Remy's like, "Oh, I need to say that."
Core
Now we're both
memory
in trouble.
unlocked.
Oh dear.
You son of a gun.
Yeah. You guys got anything else?
Nope.
Not tonight.
All right. Well, so I think the moral of tonight's story is, or tonight's episode is, stay active in your kid's life. Talk to them every night about their day. Try to learn.
Pay attention to what they're saying.
Yeah. Pay attention to what they're saying. Try to figure out what the kids in the back of the bus are saying about you. Because you'll never be as cool as them, and that's as bad as it gets.
They just keep
No,
mocking me.
No.
There we go.
He's got the grill on high, no apron on, flipping burgers while he hums a song. His jokes are corny, his socks don't match, but he's always there with a toolbox patch. As dead as he gets, he's the king of the yard with a remote in hand and a greeting card. In dad jeans and sneakers, he's truly the best. Oh yeah, he's as dad as he gets. He loves his chair that's kind of worn, fixes the squeaks with a twist of a turn, throws a thumbs up when the lights turn green, got a waist pack on like he's living the dream. As dad as it gets, he's the pun-making star, in a minivan cruising, not a care by far, with a lawn to mow and a thermostat bet. Oh yeah, he's as dad as it gets. Whistles his ringtone, sings off key, tells the best bad jokes you'll ever see. Reads the instructions, not his game, but somehow it all just works the same. His cargo shorts with pockets galore, runs back into the house when he's halfway to the door, claps at the grill, dad's flame will survive, high-fiving the dog, life's just a good vibe. As dad as it gets, he's the king of the yard with a remote in hand and a greeting card. In dad jeans and sneakers, he's truly the best. Oh yeah, he's as dad as it gets. He loves his chair that's kind of worn, fixes the squeaks with a twist of a turn, throws a thumbs up when the lights turn green, got a waist pack on like he's living the dream. As dad as it gets, he's the pun-making star, in a minivan cruising, not a care by far, with a lawn to mow and a thermostat bet. Oh yeah, he's as dad as it gets. Whistles his ringtone, sings off key, tells the best bad jokes you'll ever see. Reads the instructions, not his game, but somehow it all just works the same. Yeah, yeah. Hey, yeah. Oh yeah, he's as dad as it gets. His cargo no shorts with pockets galore. Runs back into the house when he's halfway to the door. Claps at the grill, dad's flame will survive. High five and the dog life's just a good